On Global TV News Prime, President Bola Tinubu expresses sadness over Abuja Kaduna train accident. In business, Nigeria straightens agricultural bridge with Caribbean nation. And all the foreign scene, World Food Program calls Gaza aid drop in the ocean. And in sports, Bayern reached agreement with Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson over loan move. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the derailment on the Abuja-Kaduna Rail line. In a statement released on his X account, the president said he is monitoring the situation despite being far away in Brazil. Tinubu stated that his heartfelt prayers are with the injured, their families, and all passengers who went through the distressing experience, noting that he has been receiving updates and is awaiting a full briefing to ensure swift action. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau 6 has confirmed that 6 passengers sustained injuries in the accident. The Nigerian Army says it is extending its role beyond the battlefield by supporting agriculture in Benue State, Nigeria's food basket. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has launched a fertilizer distribution program aimed at boosting food production and strengthening community security. Benue State correspondent Felicity Indere tells us more.
At a gathering of community leaders, farmers and stakeholders, the Army rolled out its fertilizer distribution program across Benue farming communities. The initiative, championed by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Oluyede, is being described as a game changer for the state known as Nigeria's food basket.
You're supposed to be holding this one by your side, even if you get exhausted of your bullet. You can use the spear.
Represented by the garrison commander, Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Bako, the Army Chief said the gesture highlights the military's commitment to national development and citizens' welfare beyond its traditional security mandate.
Farmers need the tools and input necessary to make the land fruitful. The people of Benue State, the backbone of our nation's food production, will reap immense benefit from this intervention, and as productivity increases here, the ripple effect will be felt across Nigeria, enhancing food availability and affordability nationwide.
For many in Benue, the intervention could not have come at a better time.
It is something that nobody has ever done this, but today we appreciate their gesture for bringing the fertilizer. They brought it on time. Because this is the time the farming season.
The Chief of Army Staff himself, Oluyede, sent his representative here to give up fertilizers to boost our agricultural farming. We are very happy about it. Then this thing has been flagged off. It has boosted our morale to go into more farming activities.
We have been affected so much that mostly youths in our community, in our society today, depend on agriculture products to sell before they get money. In most cases, in almost every village in our communities.
The initiative, themed enhancing food security through community protection, defending the harvest, securing the future, reflects the Army's broader vision of distribution to national development, while sending a clear message that its mission goes beyond the battlefield and into everyday lives of citizens. From Konshisha, Felicity Indere, reporting for Global TV News.
Still in Benue State, the House of Assembly, in a dramatic turn under its new Speaker, Alfred Berger, has suspended former Speaker Aamduna Hyacinth Doja for 6 months over allegations of plotting to impeach Governor Hyacinth Alia. Our Benue State correspondent Felicity Indere reports that lawmakers in the same sitting also confirmed the nominations of James Duen and Timothy Yangian, a law lecturer earlier rejected over multiple petitions. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has promoted 49 deputy directors to the rank of directors across various departments. A statement by Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social to FCT Minister Lanre Olayinka said the approval by Nyesom Wike follows the result of the first ever computer-based promotion examination aimed at clearing promotion arrears from 2023 to 2025. FCT Civil Service Commission says the Education Officer cadre recorded the highest number of promotions with 20 slots, followed by accountants with 9 results. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has confirmed Ambassador Ilia Umar Damagum as a substantive national chairman after serving in an acting capacity. The resolution formed part of key decisions reached at the 102nd meeting of the party's National Executive Committee in Abuja. And Muete Patrick has details.
Reading the communique after the meeting, PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba explained that NEC adopted the recommendation of the National Convention Zoning Committee. According to him, all national offices currently held in the north and south will remain in their existing zones, except for the office of the national chairman, which remains in the north. Ologunagba added that the party has zoned its 2027 presidential ticket to the southern region, stressing that the PDP is committed to a seamless and inclusive process as it prepares for its elective national convention, scheduled to hold in Ibadan, Oyo State, from Saturday, November 15th to Sunday, November 16th, 2025.
In recognition of the efforts of the National Working Committee under the leadership of Acting National Chairman Ambassador Ilia Umar Damagum in stabilizing the party, NEC hereby ratifies and confirms the appointment of Ambassador Ilia Umar Damagum as the substantive national chairman of the party with effect from today, 25th August 2025.
The NEC also reviewed updates from the PDP Constitutional Amendments Committee and directed that the proposed amendments be circulated to all party organs and chapters nationwide for further input. Furthermore, the NEC commended the PDP Governors Forum, the Board of Trustees, the National Assembly Caucus, and other party structures for their unity and commitment towards ensuring a successful convention. Meanwhile, the NEC condemned the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, accusing it of state-backed intimidation, manipulation, and violence during recent by-elections. The PDP warned that such actions by the APC threaten democracy and national stability, accusing the ruling party of pursuing Nigeria towards a one-party state.
NEC received and after extensive deliberations approved the report of the National Convention Zoning Committee, which recommended as follows. A. That all PDP national office positions currently in the northern region of the country remain in the northern region. B. That all PDP national office positions currently in the southern region of the country remain in the southern region. C. That the position of the national chairman having been retained in the northern region of the country, the presidential candidate of the party for the 2027 general election is thereby zoned to the southern region.
He, however, reaffirmed the commitment of the party to democratic values and the protection of citizens' rights, while vowing to mobilize Nigerians and work towards reclaiming power in the 2027 general elections. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says Nigeria has recorded a 46% decline in variant poliovirus cases compared to the previous year. The agency announcement was made in Abuja during the second quarter 2025 review meeting of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery. The meeting was chaired by His Highness Alhaji Samalia Mohammed Mary, Emir of Argungu. Over now to the Academic Staff Union of Universities says the union is prepared for what it calls the mother of all strikes until its demands regarding the 2009 agreements with the federal government are implemented. The University of Calabar chapter stated this at a news conference on Tuesday in Calabar. The chapter's chairman, Dr. Peter Ubi, said it is time for the federal government to fulfill the lingering agreement conceived to lift the standard of university education in the country. A federal high court in Abuja has frowned at the conduct of a lawyer to Muhammad Usman, also known as Khalid al-Banawi, leader of Boko Haram descendant splinter group Ansaru, and 4 other suspects for failing to appear in court. Justice Emeka Urete, who expressed displeasure about the development, issued a final warning to the lawyer and defendants in the terrorism case to attend court unfailingly on the next hearing date of September 5th and 12th. Usman is being persecuted on terrorism-related charges along with other suspected members of his group. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has expressed solidarity with the people and government of Kebbi State following the devastating floods that have ravaged farmlands, homes and public infrastructure, leaving communities displaced and loss of lives. In a letter addressed to Governor Nasir Idris and signed by NLC President Joe Ajaero, the Congress commended the governor for his swift and proactive response in setting up a committee to assess the damage and recommend strategic measures for the rehabilitation. Now, while commending the state's effort, Ajaero urged the federal government to urgently step in and provide substantial support to Kebbi State to cushion the effect of the disaster. He specifically called for the immediate repair and reconstruction of damaged infrastructure, provision of relief materials to victims, and assistance in implementing proactive strategies to avert future occurrences. You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, Bayern reached agreements with Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson over loan move. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the federal government is straightening ties beyond the continent, aiming to boost agriculture and economic growth. As Nigeria has announced plans to collaborate with the Caribbean nation of St. Kitts and Nevis in a joint effort to achieve food security and economic diversification. During a recent meeting in Abuja, Nigeria's Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, welcomed his counterparts from St. Kitts and Nevis. Samuel Diggins, Senator Kyari, emphasized that Nigeria's vast arable land and agricultural strength could drive transatlantic cooperation in food production, trade and technology. He noted that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's recent visit to St. Lucia's laid the groundwork for deeper collaboration between Africa and the Caribbean. The partnership is expected to include knowledge sharing, raw material trade and investment in agro-industrial ventures. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has called on the federal government to halt the implementation of the 4% free on-board charge on imports by the Nigerian Customs Service. The association expressed strong objection to what it termed as subtle reintroduction of the 4% fee on-board charge in contravention of the earlier widely publicized suspension of the charge by the federal government. The manufacturers noted that the apparent reintroduction of the 4% free on-board charge on imports effective August 4th, 2025 came as a surprise as the charge was commendably suspended by the federal government. Over now to the Group Managing Director of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojolari, has disclosed that Nigeria's crude oil pipeline and terminal recipients are close to 100% due to improved security intervention. Speaking at the 2025 African Chief of Defense Staff Summit on Monday, Ojolari said terminal receipts of crude oil that were as low as 30% as a result of crude theft were now returning close to 100%. Ojolari also said the company is beginning to win the war against crude theft prevalent in oil-producing regions. On our foreign news now, the World Food Programme has warned that the aid Israel is allowing to enter Gaza remains what the United Nations agency has described as a drop in the ocean, days after famine was formally declared in the war-torn Palestinian territory. During an interview, Karl Skau, World Food Programme Deputy Executive Director, says while there has been a slight increase in aid trucks entering, there need to be a completely different level of assistance to turn the situation around. Over now to Uyi Agbomofuegbe's report.
The United Nations had declared a famine in Gaza last Friday, blaming the systemic obstruction of aid by Israel during its nearly 2-year war with the Palestinian militant group, Hamas. Skau, who doubles as the World Food Programme's chief operating officer, said over the past 2 weeks, there has been an average of around 100 trucks per day allowed into Gaza.
What we have seen over the past, let's say, 2 weeks is there is a slight uptick in the volumes of assistance that we are able to bring in. I think we are averaging now maybe 100 trucks more or less per day. But obviously that's still a drop in the ocean when we're talking about assisting some 2.1 million people. And so we need a completely different level of assistance to be able to turn this trajectory of famine around.
He called for substantial investment in food security, stating that extreme actions are likely to be considered in the face of food scarcity by those who have been adversely impacted.
We are in a funding crunch, and the challenge here is that the needs keep going up. We see some 320 million people right now being acutely food insecure. It's almost a 3-fold increase in the past 5 years, and that is now happening while the funding is coming down. For WFP, we see some 40% cut if we compare to last year.
The Rome-based Integration Food Security Phase Classification Initiative says famine is affecting 500,000 people in Gaza. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In another development now, Australia has expelled Iran's ambassador, accusing the country of being behind optimistic arson attack in Sydney and Melbourne. It marks the first time Australia has expelled an ambassador since World War II. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said intelligence service reached a deeply disturbing conclusion that Iran directed at least 2 optimistic attacks. In sports stories now, the National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko has met with South Africa's Minister Lindin Manali ahead of the World Cup qualifier between Nigeria and South Africa scheduled for September 9th in Bloemfontein. The meeting held at the Commission headquarters in Abuja focused on ensuring smooth logistics for Nigerian official delegations and supporters traveling for the match. Discussions also covered timely visa processing and other travel arrangements, with the Commission confirming that it has secured private sector support to complement government effort. The chase for tickets to the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow has begun in earnest as Team Nigerian's weightlifters hit Ahmedabad, India for the 2025 Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship. Now, the competition is the official qualifiers to next year's Glasgow Commonwealth Games, slated to hold between 23rd July and 2nd August 2026. Among the team's standout athletes are Ruth Asukwo, Eyong, and Ididong Mafia from Akwa Ibom. Bayern Munich have reached an agreement on personal terms with Chelsea striker Nicholas Jackson as a step-up effort to reinforce their attack. The Barcelona champions are targeting a loan move for the Senegalese forward and will now open transfer talks with the Premier League side. Nicholas Jackson's future at the Stamford Bridge has come under doubt this summer after he slipped down the pecking order under manager Enzo Maresca. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the derailment on the Abuja-Kaduna rail line. In business, the federal government is straightening ties beyond the continent, aiming to boost agriculture and economic growth, as Nigerians announce plans to collaborate with Caribbean nation of St. Kitts and Nevis in a joint effort to achieve food security and economic diversification. And on the foreign scene, we brought to you that the World Food Programme has warned that the aid Israel is allowing to enter Gaza remains what the United Nations agency has described as a drop in the ocean days after famine was formally declared in the war-torn Palestinian territory. And finally, in sports, Bayern Munich has reached an agreement on personal terms with Chelsea striker Nicholas Jackson as they stepped up efforts to reinforce their attack. Now that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.